Arizona podcast. This is what I have for you. David's on. Um, he's always on. That's my guy. This is I was hoping German and David really, which is a great turn of events. I love how this is what the pod is now. We talk about competition at the top, but the main thing we go through week 18. Talk about the Sean McVay stuff, coaching, and just a bunch of good stuff. Mike Tomlin. So good pod, fun pod as always. So enjoy it. Here's David.
Did you hit the gym this morning? Is that where you were at?
Yeah, but I go like at 5 a.m. I go early.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
You're one of those. All right.
Well, it's because of I realistically I will evening. And so the morning is just works best because of work, because of school and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's why I took forever to start going because getting up is it's tough.
It's tough. Yeah.
It's tough, man. So, um, yeah, but I've been getting up and going and feeling sore, but feeling good. And
Yeah.
yeah,
You're on to the next. Like Niners, you're on to the next.
I know we're on to Thursday. Yeah, so it's been good. Um, I'm still like learning. Like I still don't have like a set. Um,
Like routine.
yeah, because I don't know anything about that. I don't know about like routines. So I'm kind of just I found out like I think on Twitter, I think I saw like workout different muscle group a day. So I kind of just mapped it out like that.
Yeah.
So if you know anything better, let me know. Obviously,
What?
something for beginners. Because
Well,
I
what?
just
You say you lift weights, right? So I'm assuming you do like, are you doing like squats and all that too, or just just like some bench press or like the cable weights machine? You know.
so I am look. I'm a big guy, but I'm weak. I don't have strength. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping to hit that old man strength soon. Hopefully, because
Oh,
you
yeah,
read
yeah. I remember hearing about that. Yeah, yeah.
because you read like the dudes that like aren't really strong, but then they get to like their 30s, and all of a sudden like it all comes.
It hit. Yeah, it hits. Yeah,
So
like
I'm hoping to get that strength soon. Um, so I'm doing like dumbbells. I still don't feel comfortable enough with a bench press or anything like that.
right.
So dumbbells, like how like the gym has like it's like bench press, but it's like assisted pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Is that
so
like Planet Fitness?
no choose.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
Yeah, yeah,
it's like a 24-hour fitness or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But it's the bench, but it's like it's on the rack, like so it stays completely like level the whole time that you're going up and down.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like proof so that you don't die, pretty much,
Right, right.
or nothing,
Okay.
or you don't end up on a TikTok of gym fails or something like
Yeah,
that.
like what not to do, and
Yeah,
then yeah,
exactly.
someone's recording you like off to the side, like, oh, don't be
Oh,
that guy, bro,
dude.
and you're back there just doing your best. Like I'm trying, man. Come on, like
You know what I did realize though, because um, the shoes where I go, it's like you get the treadmill bike area, you get the machines and all that, and then in this section over here, you get the free weights.
free weights. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I remember the first 2 days, I was like, I'm too intimidated to go over there. And then you head over there and you realize like dude, no one's looking at you, man. Like everyone's like in their own zone, they're doing their
Yeah,
thing. Um, because you kind of get like in your own head, like, man, like
yeah, yeah.
I'm lifting too little, like what are people gonna think? And then you realize like no one's gonna think anything because nobody cares. Like just
Nobody cares. Yeah,
like dude, you're there. It's like the what's that? It's Max Kellerman used to say, like, you don't make fun of the fat person when they're at the gym, because they're actually doing something about it.
they're there to improve themselves.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're
yeah.
yeah,
So I realized, like, man, like it's all in my head. Like I went over there and I was like, oh man, like this is. And Stephanie was like, oh, you went to. I was telling her like, oh, I just feel intimidated to going over there. And then when I
yeah,
went, I like told her, I realized like nobody cares, like nobody's looking. So it kind of takes the pressure off once you're in that mindset. But I can
yeah.
see you get in your head and you think like, oh man, like
Well, especially, I mean, I think you're unique in the fact that you can get over that like semi quickly because because also like you watch sports,
yeah,
right? You have a notion of like what it is to see the fruits of like someone's labor, like when they do work hard, like these athletes and whatnot. So like you're going into the gym, you're thinking like, all right, I gotta start somewhere.
yeah.
But it's like sometimes I'll talk to people that like aren't at all into sports and they have like no sense of competition, no sense of like anything, right? Complete novices.
Oh,
And they go
right.
into the gym and dude, if you see, this Nick Boza-esque guy with that physique, you're like,
You
well,
shrink.
Jesus Christ, bro! Like that
Right.
really, like that's intimidating. That's like even me. Like I don't lift like often, but I'm still pretty strong. I've retained a lot of my strength, so when I go into the
Yeah,
gym, I'm like I can still put up some solid numbers. Nowhere near where I was before, but I feel like
right.
confident and whatnot. But every now and then I'll be like, dang, this is pretty ripped. All right, cool. I gotta go. Like where's that heavy? Where are those 70-pound dumbbells for like I'm like, where, I gotta get back in there. So, but that's good. That's good that you're like, you know what? Nobody cares. I'm here to get strong, improve myself, burn some calories. So,
Yeah, because the way
yeah,
I see, and I think that's a good point of the sports thing because it is a like little by little. You're not.
yeah,
I'm not gonna get to where I want to get to in a week or in a day. So I need to make sure
yeah,
I'm just putting in the work every single day. Um, so yeah, so maybe it is the sports stuff and even the competition to be better than myself. I'm competing with me.
yeah.
So I think yeah, I think that it's why sports is so valuable. I think you
Oh
need
yeah, yeah.
the
How to?
competition aspect of it. Like, cause
Yeah,
then yeah, I find myself as I get older not being able to like relate to people that aren't competitive, even with themselves. Like just a good competition
yeah.
to be better, to strive for more. And it's
Right.
just like really like you don't
You don't
challenge,
want to
push
see what
yourself
you
like that.
could be capable of if you actually like put in a little more. Like, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah. People like that. I'm just like I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
this happened to me once, and I was in summer school, and it was my sophomore year going into my junior year. I had gotten a D in a semester of chemistry,
Hmm.
and so I had to retake just that one semester. So I did it over the summer,
Right.
and so I had to go to school before like summer practices and drink in the morning. And the teacher was shout out to Mr. Ansich, Coach Ansich. He was the son of a legendary football coach in the area
Hmm.
um, for St. Paul High School. But anyway, so he was a football guy. He had it in his
Right. Right.
mind. He
Yeah.
would use examples in class where all the football guys were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know exactly." Like all of us with our same haircut. We're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's perfect. That makes perfect sense." Meanwhile, everybody else is like, "I don't know what he's talking about. What's a pulling guard? I don't
Right.
know what a pulling guard is. I don't know what." So he was talking. I don't know what the topic was, but he asked me. He's like, "Escamilla." He's like, he's like, I'm pretty sure you do this, but when you walk into a room, he's like, do you check to see if you're the strongest guy in the room, like lifting wise? Like, do you
Mm,
just size people up? And I thought about it, and I was like, dude, I do. Like, especially at that time in high school,
right.
I'm putting up like almost like 300 pounds at that point on bench. Like, I'm in the zone. I'm like prime David, you know. And so he's like, I bet you do this. Like when you walk into a classroom or you go like, do you look to see who the next biggest guy is? And if you see a bigger guy, you're like, dang, all right, that's the guy to like to
Right.
take out.
Hmm.
And not only did I say that, but I had other teammates that were in the class, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we all do that. Like anytime you go anywhere, like you're like that guy could probably squat, you know." So and I was like, "Dang!" And I was like, we were all kind of wired the same, but he knew to point that out, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Dang, dude, you got me down to a T. You know exactly what I'm thinking when I go most places, you know." And I was like, "Hmm,
I think every guy that competes is like that. I think a
yeah,
healthy guy thinks that way,
yeah, yeah, oh,
like
yeah."
you show up into a room and you think, okay, like if things were to pop off,
Who do I need to outrun? Who's the other fastest guy? Like, if you're a fast guy, you're like,
yeah, or what's what would I use? How would I, beat this guy if I had to fight him?
yeah,
You
if this
know.
guy like stepped to my girl, like what would I say to him? And then
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, I'm drinking a cider, like I can break the bottle and God, like not that I thought of that or ever done that, but I'm just saying, like just
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's pretty normal. Unless you're not involved in anything competitive, and not just sports, but just anything competitive.
right.
Um, or if you like didn't grow up with like,
Siblings or something.
yeah, because siblings naturally make you competitive in a good
Yeah,
way. Um, and cousins too, if you grew up with
yeah,
cousins, or friends. But yeah, it's interesting because it's what I think one of the things that shocks me when I hear like Tom Brady talk about success, or even Kobe at the end of his
right.
career when he was like with the talk about success, Jordan in the documentary, The Last Dance, their focus is like they've won a lot, but it's not what they resort to when they talk about what made them great. And it's interesting because that's like the fan argument is, oh, Tom Brady's great, 7 Super Bowls. And Tom Brady, just his focus isn't the 7 Super Bowls. His focus is doing the work, competing every day.
Competing every day. He's like, I want to
And
earn it every
just,
day.
yeah,
Yeah,
and just that I remember when the Patriots went undefeated in the regular season, and they asked Tom Brady, because Tom Brady had this thing about how he loved practice. And they were interviewing him, and the reporter asked him, like, why does he try so hard in practice? Like, he's Tom Brady. And he was saying that he wants to be able to look at his offensive line and his receivers, the running back, and when he's demanding more in a game, he wants to be able to look them in the face because he's demanded more of himself.
yeah. He won't
It's
actually do anything
just,
that he's not doing.
yeah, so it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
and it's interesting because it's not what makes these guys awesome is not just the results of what they win or don't win, but it's just the mentality, the mindset to like,
yeah.
no matter what, whether you win or lose, you keep going. And you see it even in like the coaches, like Bill Belichick. I remember when the Patriots beat um the Falcons
Mm,
28-3, that
mm.
probably the best Super Bowl ever. Um, although I think the Seattle Super Bowl is a better game. Just like
The 20-3 is I think it's
it's the most
easily
iconic.
greatest Super Bowl comeback in
Yeah,
history.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
because it went so long, it goes to overtime. Like, but I think the Seattle one is like one of the best games I've ever seen because it was
yeah,
like peak, the Legion of Boom, Russ
Like
was
Richard Sherman's face, like on the sideline,
uh
like like
and you know the Patriots are down 10 and you're like, man, can he come back against that defense? Because that defense was that good. And then he like
they were hot. They were hot.
he carved them up and you're like, dude, right? That's when for me the GOAT debate was over. Well, like after he won the three, I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be it. This guy's it. But I think for everyone, that Seattle Super Bowl kind of like was like, okay, like we can stop this charade of Peyton Manning and Montana and all that.
Breeze and Rogers and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I remember after that game, after the 28-3 game, Bill Belichick goes up there and they're asking him, and Belichick says, "We're we're behind. We're behind
Oh yeah, I
schedule."
remember that. He's like the other teams are already preparing for next season, and because
Yeah,
we
he's
had to
like,
play these games, we're already behind. Yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
this
like
dude's crazy. Like this is that gives up the same energy as like Jordan saying like, yeah, and I took that personally. You're like, what? Like,
yeah,
dang,
and
like
you're just like, dude, you just this Super Bowl is gonna be remembered forever, forever. Like that's what you have to say. Like that's, but it's just the mindset. It's why I always say like we're on to whatever because Belichick said that they got like kicked. The Chiefs beat them badly at
yeah,
Arrowhead in a Monday night game, and everybody was like, "Oh, is this it for Brady? Is this it for the
yeah.
Patriots?
You're starting another
Should
quarterback. Like, are
should they
they
bench
done?
Brady?" And Belichick just walks up there. We're on to Cincinnati, and it's just like that's what it is. We got
Yeah,
we got beat today. We got another game next week. Let's keep working. Let's go. And I think just that mindset is what sets all these guys apart. And yeah, I think 100% it's competition. So when I go into the gym now, it's not even anybody. It's me. Like I need to get up in the morning. I need to be there. I need to get there because like yesterday I showed up and I was like, oh man, I'm glad I made it. I almost didn't make it, but I'm glad I made it. And it was fine. And today, and it just gets easier the more you just are
yeah,
on it and do it. And it's the same thing with the pod. Like it's I should record. Like you know what? No, let me do it. Let me turn out everything on. Let me connect it. Let me go. And you just get in this groove, and it's like that with I think 99% of like
yeah.
life.
And I think whenever every single time that I've gone to the gym, there it's
Mhm.
funny. There's always an element of like uncertainty where I'm like, should I go? Nah, should I?
Right. Yeah.
Whenever I go and I finish my workout, I'm always like, I don't regret doing this. I'm like, this was a good option. Like the endorphins that you're just like, oh, that was good. That was great. That was what I needed. Like, and it's always like, yeah, I've never once looked back after the gym and thought like, oh, dude, that was whack. You know, it's
Dude,
always like, oh, like
that's so on point. It's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
There's like zero regret for going there. Zero.
yeah,
Like just that you're never like, ah man, I wish I would have done something else. That's so true. That's
yeah.
that's that's true.
That's a good feeling. I'm like, damn, I got to think of that whenever I'm like debating on going or not. I'm like, I know it's gonna feel good. Like,
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's good. Today I worked on legs, so I'm sure tomorrow I'm gonna have a really hard time walking, but it's okay. It's fine. That's how I
oh,
was with my
dude,
arms.
oh my gosh,
Yesterday I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But then you get over it, you push through
dude,
and
legs is the worst, man. Legs is like, oh,
yeah.
dude, I have memories. I have memories of like being in class before practice, like my last class before practice,
Yeah.
and we had done legs the day before, and so that entire day I was like, just bro, not only bro, it hurts to wipe, like not even just walking, it hurts to anything to squat, to sit down, it hurts to sit down.
So you got to get to the bay
Like the action of like so,
every day.
dude. Oh my god, I gotta get on that too. I've been
Dude,
shown
dude,
the way.
those
Yeah,
things. Ooh,
shout out to Aaron because Aaron has a bidet and
Aaron,
he's
yeah,
like, dude, he's like, it's great. And
dude,
I'm like,
they're the
and I was kind of
best,
skeptical. I was like, I don't know, man. Like the older
dude,
Mexican man in me was like, I don't know how I feel about some like
dude.
But then I tried it and I was like, that was pretty good. That was like so. But yeah, dude, yeah, I remember dreading going to practice because I was so sore from the workout for
Right.
legs the day before. And it's like, dude, how am I gonna? And I'm thinking, I'm like, how am I gonna like run and like get in my stance, block somebody? But I mean, once you get out there, once you stretch a little, warm up, it kind of goes away, and then the adrenaline kicks in. But I remember thinking before that, I was like, dude, I have to like push people and like, and then we're gonna run sprints at the end. Then we might lift again. Like, dude, yeah, and uh, and I miss it now. Like I remember they'd be like, "Are you gonna miss this?" And you're like, and at the time I was like, "Bro, I'm not gonna miss this." And now I'm like, "Oh yeah, I miss it for sure."
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing really replaces that.
yeah. What shirt is that? That's giving me like throwback Eagles colors, and that's interesting
No,
for me.
no,
What
no,
kind of
no,
shirt
no,
is that?
no.
Was that the Mexico jersey? Okay, I was
Yeah,
sorry, all right, I was close. It is an eagle, but
calm
different
down.
side of the fence. Different side of the fence.
Woo! South of the border. This isn't eagle color. This is la selección, el tri. That's what I'm wearing today. Um, so it's the last week of football, or at least regular season
Regular
football.
season, yeah.
Um, I'm glad the Niner game doesn't mean as much, at least for the Niners. I
Yeah.
just health. That's all I want. Just health. Like I think they're gonna play half the game. Dude, nobody get hurt. I personally wouldn't play. McCaffrey isn't playing, which is good. But I would sit Trent Williams. I'd be like, dude, bubble wrap, bro. Like,
Really?
yeah, because he's older. I understand,
True.
like, I understand Brock Purdy, you don't want to sit him for 2 weeks. I get that. I understand like although because Debo's he's like a momentum player. So if you sit him 2 weeks, like he might be rusty.
Yeah, he gets cold. Yeah.
But Trent, he's 35. I mean, he's older. So
Yeah.
him 2 weeks, especially because he had like a minor groin issue with versus the Ravens. Dude, just sit out, bro. Just sit out, and We'll see you in the division round. Um, and then the Rams are. I guess the Rams should care because depending on where they're going to be. Although the Rams are playing so good, I don't think they really care who they play because I think they're going to feel fine regardless of who they play. Although it's interesting because as of now, they're slated to play the Lions, which is like poetic. It's so poetic because it's Stafford going back to Detroit,
Yeah.
Goff against
Stafford and
McVay,
Goff. Yeah.
and I think the Rams could beat them. I would pick the Rams to beat the Lions in a like
Dang.
upset. I believe that much in Sean McVay. I hate that I like Sean McVay so much, but he's so good. He's amazing. I hate that I like him. Like Pete Carroll, like I can't stand him. Just I was
Why? What is it about Pete Carroll?
well, he's the coach of the Seahawks. It's
Oh
just
no, I know, but like, okay,
I think just his like he's a guy that whenever his team is winning and he's beating your team, like he's just he's enjoying it too much. Because there's two like detestable things about somebody. Either they're like laughing and enjoying it, and you're just like, dude, I hate you, bro. Like,
like piss
what?
off, like yeah,
Yeah. And then there's like the Belichick who acts like,
like super stoic no matter
yeah,
what.
like what happened? Like, and you're just like, dude, what do you like?
You won the
And
Super
that,
Bowl. How do you feel? It's like we're behind.
yeah, and
Like
that
yeah,
riles you up. It's like it's Blake Griffin for a long time. He was the most hated guy in the NBA. But I think it's because he would like dunk on these guys in such a like ridiculous ways, and he would just be like, "All right, dude, like inbound the ball, like let's keep going." and people would lose, like everyone's losing their mind that he just like dunked and he's just like
It's like, let's go, come on, like yeah.
cool. And I think it just like that kind of like gets you all like riled up because you're like, are you serious? Like, because at least like yell, pump your chest because like, dude, that was sick. And he was just like, yeah.
Dang, okay, all right, all right.
So Pete Carroll, he's just like smiling. He's like chomping at the gum, and I'm just like, bro, I hope you bite your lip, bro. I just
Hold on,
and
okay, because
your
okay,
tongue.
let me ask you about these two individuals then, because
Yeah.
this is interesting. And maybe you did, I think you did, but
Mhm.
I think you liked Kyle Shanahan before he was the coach of the Niners.
I
You
did.
liked him,
I did.
okay.
Yeah.
Even when he was on opposing teams and he played the Niners, like when he
Yeah.
would play against the Niners.
Well, yeah, because he was a coordinator, so it's different. A coordinator doesn't get that much shine like that.
Okay, so okay, but hypothetical, if like Sean
Mhm.
McVay was the coach of the Niners, would you be like, would you feel good about that? Would you like him then? Like, would that change your perspective? And same thing with Pete Carroll. Like, if he was your coach and he was winning
If
and he was
sh-
laying it
but
on
I
thick,
like Sean McVay. I love Sean
okay.
McVay.
So you
So
actually just
yeah.
don't like Pete Carroll. Like, if he was the coach of the Niners, you'd be like, oh,
No,
like,
I mean no, look. No, but I if he was in the coach of the Niners, I would love it because of this. Jim Harbaugh is that same energy. Jim Harbaugh is this hardo, like unlikable dude unless he's your coach. And
he's like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
and
like
I
the players' coach. Like, they're buddy buddy with the players.
yeah, but
Like,
you
they're
listen
high
to Jim
energy.
Harbaugh, his whole like who's got it better than us. Like if you're not, if he's not coaching your team, you hate that. But he coached the Niners, and that I so Jim Harbaugh is my guy forever. So unless when he comes back to the NFL, it's going to be different, obviously. But um, yeah. So if Pete Carroll was the Niner coach, you'd be you just hate to see people happy. Obviously, I would spin it. Obviously, but he's coaching the Seahawks. I think a lot of it's because he's coaching the Seahawks.
Okay,
To be honest with you, because if he was coaching
the Titans, like,
the
just
Titans, the Cardinals, I wouldn't really care. Like it would be like, all right, whatever.
dang. Okay,
It's probably why I like Belichick. Belichick and that he never affected me in a way that I like had to generate hate. Which is probably
dang.
why I love Brady so much because I'd never had to. Like I know a lot like Raider fans who hate Brady and Belichick,
Oh yeah, yeah,
but that makes sense. Like you feel like they robbed you of a Super Bowl,
yeah.
and so that makes sense. But I never had that, so I don't.
Okay,
I never had
okay.
to grow a hate for those guys.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, all right.
Do you hate anybody with sports?
Gosh.
Because I feel like you're like as positive as they come. I've never heard you like Gardner like, oh man, I can't stand this guy or this coach or this team. Like
Um,
you hate the Niners, but because you want to see me suffer. But I think if I wasn't a Niner fan, I don't think you would really like.
yeah, I don't think there are certain guys that I'm like pretty neutral on, and not neutral, but like I'm just kind of like, like, and like it's pretty easy for me to think someone's likable, even if they're not on my team. Like for
Right.
example, like I see Mike McDaniel's, and granted the Dolphins are in my division, but I'm like,
Okay.
dang it, I can't help but like Mike McDaniel's and his energy. Like
Yeah.
he's such a quirky guy. I
Right.
think that's cool, you know.
Yeah.
But someone like who's the Cowboy is it McCarthy? Mike
Yeah.
McCarthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Him, I'm just like, dude, do you get excited or like it's kind of like the Blake thing. I'm like, cause I watched him. Like, I think it was the Lions game. I was watching part of the Lions Cowboys game on Saturday,
Yeah.
and he was just on the sideline. I'm like, dude, do you ever like? What, I don't see any kind of like urgency or you know. And with Belichick, I like elements of it, and then I tolerate it because it's like, dude, he's winning. Like, so it's like I can't be mad, you know. But then you see him do joke around a little bit, and you're like, there he is. Like, there's
Dang,
the,
that's so you like personality.
I
You're a
do,
big You're a
Dude,
big
Dan
person.
Campbell. Love Dan Campbell.
Ah, okay. So Pete
Like,
Carroll to
bro,
you is like,
Pete Carroll's heaven. Dude, also USC. Like,
yeah, Sean McVay, obviously big
Sean
personality.
McVay. Even your boy Harbaugh. I remember when he was like, when Kaepernick had just won the spot from Smith,
Right,
Alex Smith.
right, right.
Harbaugh would do that thing where he was like banging on his pads, like to get him
Yeah.
hyped for the game.
Well, he would
Dude,
do that with Alex Smith too. Yeah.
yeah, that was, bro. I was like, bro, I'll be a ball boy for your team, bro. Like, sign me up, dude.
So
Like,
Kyle Shanahan, kind of you're indifferent because Kyle
he's
is
kind of
very,
like Belichick, like good coach,
yeah,
but he's very like he's
yeah,
here.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
not
yeah,
here. He's
yeah,
you know, but he hasn't given me a reason to like dislike him, like
yeah.
So you
I
know,
prefer to root for the guy who's more like Shanahan, Belichick. I prefer that
mm,
because I think the happy guys. I mean, unless you're winning a lot, then because even Andy Reid has personality, but he's more Belichicky and Shanahan. Like he's more serious, and obviously you could tell he has a sense of humor, but
yeah.
he's not like like with a showing his teeth, smiling during a
He's
game.
also chubby. Chubby guys, we just got humor no matter what. You could be like serious and be a chubby guy, and like, you know what I mean? I forgot who it was, but I think it was who's that corner? I think he's like from Compton or something. Or safety. Marcus Peters.
Okay, yeah,
I think he called Andy Reid like Big Red during the
yeah.
interview.
Hmm.
He's like, "Oh yeah, that's my guy. I love Big Red." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Big Red," and I was like, and then I saw Andy Reid, and I was like, "Oh, he's Big Red. Like that's the boy. That's the homie." And then
Yeah,
they gave him that burger in the box. Like they always like mess with him, and he's fine with it. So you
yeah.
know, us
That's
chunky
true.
people, we're naturally jolly. I feel like you
That's
know what I
true.
mean.
We
So
have a hand of ours. We can't wow you with our looks, so we'll just make you laugh. That's true.
that's what I do. That's what I
That's
was saying.
true.
I was talking to some coworkers, and they were just talking about like people's type and whatnot, and everybody, and they were like, and they're like, "Oh, but David's funny, you know," and like talking about me, and I was like, dude, I have to be funny. I'm not this like 6'2", 200 pound strapping guy. I was like, if I'm not funny, what else do I have, bro? I'm like, I mean,
Right.
well, it's like I gotta have a sense of humor. Also, like growing up, like you said, growing up competitive, like you gotta be able to take a joke and give a joke. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. Yeah,
So it's like that just comes with the territory.
that's true.
But yeah, yeah, I can't really think of guys that I dislike. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
just a happy guy, man. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I respect that. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
like that clearly, but I respect that. I'm just all over. I just have.
No, you're like you got your thing. You're
I'm
like
a very passionate,
you're very passionate. Yeah,
opinionated person. So
yeah,
yeah, it's just. But McVay, I really like the guy. I hate it. I hate that I like him. But
yeah.
he's really good. I was telling Angel because Angel's the Rams fan, and I was telling him, I think like 6 weeks ago, and even on the pod, I think like 6 7 weeks ago, I was on the Rams early, like, hey, these guys are good, man. These guys are good. And I was, it's McVay. McVay is gonna figure it out. He's too good of a coach to not
Put up a
win.
fight. Like yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's
especially against the Niners. Like whenever when it's like a divisional game, like it's always a somewhat close game. Like I don't think I ever see these like lopsided defeats in your guys' division where someone's like, "Oh yeah, 42-7," or it's always
it's rare. Yeah.
like 27-17 maybe, or like 31-24. Like
What's funny about the division is the way it was for a while. This year, these last 2 years have been different, but the way it was for a little bit, it was the Seahawks had the Niners number. The Niners had the Rams number, the Rams had the
The Seahawks.
Seahawks number, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. So the Cardinals would like, so
Everybody's punching bag.
yeah, and they would like surprise us every once in a while. But it was
Yeah.
funny because it's like we couldn't beat the Niners. We couldn't beat the Seahawks, but the Rams would always beat the Seahawks, and the Seahawks couldn't beat the Rams, but we would always beat the Rams. And you're just like, dude,
Yeah.
like, so it's
Yeah,
just
yeah. It's like everyone's like those three teams are like 3-1 against each other. Like that's the record. Yeah, yeah.
so. I remember a few years ago, Seattle was like they had like historically the one of the worst defenses to start the year, and it was like the first 5 weeks, and they were gonna play us, and people were blowing smoke up Jimmy G's butt, and I was like, I don't know, man. We never play well against Seattle. They're gonna beat us. Like, and I was saying to one of my friends who was asking me whether he should play Jimmy Garoppolo at fantasy. They're
All
like,
right.
nah, man.
Like sit
I'm,
them.
I'm like, honestly, this Seattle owns us, bro. Like, this is not even a fantasy thing. It's just I know my team. I see these
Yeah.
guys every week. Like, Seattle may have a terrible defense against everybody else, but you're gonna
But
see.
they come to play, yeah. Either
Yeah,
they come to play against you guys or you guys like you guys meet somewhere in the middle. Like,
yeah. I'm
yeah.
like they're gonna we're gonna see the Legion of Boom on on Sunday. And he's like, no way. I'm like, all right, bro. And sure, that Seattle just like beat the hell out of us. I think Garoppolo had 2-3 picks. And I texted my friend during the game and I was like, dude, I told you, bro.
I
Like,
told you.
I told you, man. And it just and then Russell Wilson owned us for so long. I hate Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, okay, this is the
Because
one.
of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just
But you've hated him for a while though. Like it goes back.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
we were that one for the July we were at Renee's house and I brought up Russell Wilson. I think I brought up like small quarterbacks or something.
Right, right.
And you were like, "Oh, but look at Russell Wilson's gonna get hurt." Blah, blah. Like I don't know. Yeah, I get the realistic aspect of not being into small mobile quarterbacks because they can get hurt and whatnot. They have to they always have to resort to improvising, like just
Yeah.
spontaneity. Um, and you're like a pocket guy. You're like a pocket passing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
But because
but
over time, because even Russell Wilson, he was really good for a while. But as soon as that burst and that like athleticism left, look at
yeah,
Russell Wilson now. Like it just you're just like, dude, like you're a shell of the guy we used to know.
yeah,
And I think it's like the longevity thing. It's Lamar's good, but I would much rather have I'd rather have Mahomes. Well, maybe Mahomes is not the good one.
even Mahomes isn't a good example, dude, because he's
John,
like,
no, but Mahomes runs because he has to, not because he wants to. Because he'll extend,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
if he absolutely has to run, he'll run. Like I'd rather have Burrow than Lamar Jackson over the longevity of their career because it's just I think just the odds.
yeah.
But Lamar's probably he's gonna probably win MVP this year, and everyone who listens like, well, he has two MVPs, and it's like okay, but sure,
Oh, oh. Should we get into that right now? I'm feeling a vibe. I'm feeling
yeah,
like
let's do it.
what? So okay, okay. Let's.
I don't think he should win MVP, but he is.
Neither do I. He wouldn't be my top choice. Um. Let's go back 3 or 4 weeks
Okay.
specifically,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna ask you this, like man to man. You're a Niners fan.
Man,
I think you know where I'm going with this.
yeah.
Was Brock Purdy the MVP in your eyes back a few weeks?
Yes.
I knew it,
He
bruh.
no. But look. Because I think this is the thing that's crazy about how everybody talks about um Purdy. I think the reason why Purdy gets dinged so much in these conversations is because everyone still brings up his Mr. Relevant. Because if Brock Purdy was
A
the
third round
first,
pick.
yeah, or when the first three picks, the first three rounds, it'd be like, oh man, like, this guy's really good. The Niners, they found their guy. But because it's the last pick and he looks the way he looks, it's why I think you get the conversation. Because if CJ Stroud was on the Niners, nobody would have any problem with saying he's the MVP. Because CJ Stroud was thrown out there as an MVP guy a few weeks ago. Like, like
Right.
six,
It's like,
seven
like a
weeks ago.
flash in a pan. Yeah, yeah.
Because it was like, oh, CJ Stroud. And if you,
That's apples and oranges though.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
How?
Because what makes CJ Stroud different than Brock Purdy? Now, if you want to say he had the weapons and all that, that's not.
That has to play into it. That has to play into it.
I disagree
They were
because
they were mentioning CJ as MVP because the Texans suck and he's the guy.
I know, but if you're going to kind of penalize the guys for being on teams that build correctly, I think that's crazy. It's the whole conversation around Mahomes right now is, man, the Chiefs need to bring help for him. The Chiefs need to like go get him some receivers.
But you and I know better than that. We don't buy into that. We're not that crowd, Germ, because
I
we've
know.
seen Brady do it for years.
I understand.
Yeah,
But if you look at the numbers historically, the numbers that Brock Purdy's putting up are right. If his name was not Brock Purdy, if this was Patrick Mahomes putting up these numbers, this wouldn't even be a conversation. It wouldn't be. He's second in yards. He's second in touchdowns. He's first in QBR. His
so
team
you
is
give MVP to like the fifth best guy on his team?
yeah.
Really?
If you switch out Brock Purdy for another quarterback, the Niners are not the number one seed right now.
I don't know. Oh, you dude.
You think the Niners are this same team with Jimmy Garoppolo? You're crazy. No way.
Oh, not the same team, but they're still competitive and they're still winning.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Because your boy
no.
takes Jimmy G to a Super Bowl.
But the
We've already
standard,
seen
the
this play
standard,
out.
the
We've already seen this
standard,
play out.
the standard is not good. The standard is the number one seed in the NFC. That's the standard. And whether you like Purdy or not, he's been good enough to get this team to the number one seed.
Good
with
enough.
with Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers were winning in spite of him. At no point in the break in any time did any 49er fan feel good when it was Jimmy Garoppolo who had to make a play for us. And now you see Purdy do things that it's just incredible. But I think because he looked bad versus the Ravens on probably the most, the biggest game of the year. I think he's
bad is bad. Bad is bad, bro.
He's being dinged for that. He has one bad game and he's being dinged for that. And I think that's
it's a really bad one though. It's not like he threw like one pick and they lost the close one.
But okay, but Brady's had really bad games on national TV. We just mentioned one against the Chiefs Monday night. It happens.
Yeah.
So I would have given it to Purdy just because of the historical sense.
Oh, you're crazy. I hate that MVP gets they try to always give it to QBs, bro. In my opinion, it's CMC or Tyreek. Those guys are like the fact that you answered. You're telling me you would give the MVP to the guy who isn't the best player on his team. I'm like,
Okay, but CMC is not the best player on the Niners either.
Right, but he's better than Brock Purdy.
Okay, but he's not the best player. If your whole
Okay, so
argument it
who
has
is the
to,
best player on the Niners? I would say it's CMC.
I think it's honestly, I think it's Fred Warner.
There you go, bro. Why can't MVP be a defensive thing? Hot take. I think Aaron Donald should have been league MVP a few years ago when he got defensive player of the year. That guy
I
should have been league.
agree. I agree.
Yeah. So the fact that they're like, I don't, in my opinion, I don't think any quarterback this year is deserving of MVP.
I agree with that. But
Yeah.
the reason why I would say yes to Purdy is because if you're because look, Lamar's gonna get in. Lamar's basically having a very basic Lamar Jackson season.
Right, but Lamar's playing well, like you said,
Lamar's winning the
in spite
MVP.
of his team. In spite of his team.
Come on, Lamar's winning.
Who does
Lamar's
he
gonna
have that's
win.
like super hot? Does he have a
Lamar's
Debo? Does he have a CMC?
Lamar's gonna win the MVP because he's had the two loudest wins in the last 2 weeks. That's why he's winning the MVP. He's winning the MVP because of that. Because
I mean, it should matter who you beat and the way you beat them, right?
this isn't college football.
What do you mean? What are we talking about? What does that mean?
If it matters who you win, then Brock Purdy has had more impressive wins than Lamar. He beat the Cowboys. He beat the Jaguars when the Jaguars were everyone was still like, "Oh man, Jaguars are really good." The Niners were coming off the 3-game losing streak,
All
and
right,
I was
so
like,
you're
"I don't
boom
know."
here. Niners beat Cowboys. Niners beat here. Okay, boom. And then up
Eagles.
top,
They beat the Eagles.
Eagles. There you go. You're building up my pyramid for me. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going. Who else do they beat?
And so those 3 wins are better than whatever other wins Lamar Jackson has.
Right, but then Lamar's up here because he beats the Niners, so he negates all those wins. Debate over. You can't tell me that Purdy's better because he beat all those guys, and then Lamar head-to-head beats him in insane fashion. The reason why we talk about Terrence Crawford being as great as he is he beat Spartans the way he did.
Yeah, but that's not
Winning and how you win has to matter and has to play into it.
I don't think so. Not in the NFL. Are you serious? The Eagles are stumbling into the playoffs. But we're not like, you know what, maybe the Eagles should get the number 7 seed because they haven't looked good. It's like, well, that's the record. The record is the record. The Lions are a fraudulent team at number 2 or 3. And it's like, well, they've won the games they did, so it is what it is. The Bills.
I'm not debating your takes on those teams. But if you're gonna put the Niners head and shoulders above those guys, you have to put Lamar head and shoulders above the Niners, and that's because of Lamar.
I think you have to put the Ravens above the Niners. I agree with that.
And who's the guy dragging the Ravens up there with him? Who else does he have? What kind of weapons does Lamar have? Who else is doing it?
Jose Flowers is playing really good. OBJ is playing really good. That offensive line is pretty good.
The great OBJ. Yes, please.
Are you kidding me? I'm not saying he's like prime OBJ, but he's making plays. He's at least Rams OBJ. And Rams OBJ was on.
Was solid.
He was about to, I think
he's not a Cooper Kupp. Not a Cooper Kupp. Not a Debo. Not a CMC.
I think if he stays healthy, I could make the argument that he probably has like Super Bowl MVP type performance because the Bengals couldn't keep up with OBJ in that Super Bowl. Anyway, they have a good defense. What are you talking? You're acting like this is like the Texans here. What are you talking about? The Ravens have a good team. That's a good team. You don't get to the number 1 seed if you have nothing but like chumps on that team.
So good defense and on offense it's Lamar. You got to say on offense it's Lamar. You think the Ravens will be playing well? You put Purdy on the Ravens. Is Purdy MVP over there? Does he get things done? Does he elevate the guys on that offense? Dude, come on, man.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think
You're
he's
out of your
putting up.
mind, dude.
I don't
You're
think
out of your
he's.
mind.
I don't think he's putting up the numbers he's putting up in San Francisco. But I don't think the Rave. I don't think the Ravens are not a playoff team with Brock Purdy. And I think that's where I think like this conversation about Purdy is so wrong because he is a good quarterback. He
That's
is a
debatable. I don't think we know yet whether he's a good quarterback or
I
not.
I think we know, man.
No.
Yeah.
Because okay, Colin Kaepernick with that loaded Niners team was a good quarterback.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. He was
No, he
dynamic as
wasn't.
hell.
No,
Yes, he was. You're saying this having seen it, what happens after.
no, no, no,
We
no,
don't
no,
know
no,
what's good.
no, no, no,
We don't
no.
know what's going to happen
You're
with Purdy
talking to the
after.
guy. You're talking to the guy, the 49er fan who said if we had Alex Smith, we would have beat the Ravens.
I don't
That's
even
who
know if
you're
you guys
talking
get to
to.
the Super Bowl with Alex Smith.
He was the starter that whole year.
Hmm.
But what are you talking about? Yeah.
Dude, no.
So Kaepernick to me, look, and you can ask Adrian. I was never a Kaepernick guy.
Oh, I know, but that's because you don't like running QBs.
No, no,
I,
no.
I
But
get
Kaepernick
that.
himself would do things that you're just like it would were frustrating. They were frustrating as a quarterback. That I knew this isn't sustainable. So it just because you're on a loaded team does not mean you're gonna do anything. It does not mean that.
I don't know, man.
And I think Brock Purdy is
I don't think we
what.
know who he is yet. All right, I don't think we haven't seen what adversity have we seen him in?
So
What type of adversity?
so what needs to happen?
Okay, I honestly I wouldn't. Okay,
He needs to like Debo needs to retire. Ayuk needs to go somewhere else.
I think
Trent Williams
okay.
needs to
I
leave.
think
CMC
hold
needs
on.
to go.
If we were to see, yeah, exactly. Not that they're gonna go, but if we were to see a stretch, okay. I think this is funny. I don't think it's funny. Like, for example, the arguments for Brady,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
you hear guys say this, oh man, he could have went without Gronk, could have went without Adam. He fulfilled those needs. He's won Super Bowls without each of those guys. And some guys were even pointing out, oh, he never had a season throwing 30 TDs without Randy Moss. It's like, well, he won 7 Super Bowls without Randy Moss. So if this season I would have seen a stretch where like Debo was gone, like injured for a majority of the season, or one of the other guys, and he was having this kind of year, I'd be like, dang, like this dude, things things might be chipping away a little bit, but he's still making it happen. I just haven't seen that yet.
I think you're just. I think you're this. You're moving the goalposts, man. Because this isn't the conversation that was had for Patrick Mahomes when he was in a really good Chiefs team, and he got to all those AFC Championship games in a row. You weren't like, well, I kind of want to see it before without Kelsey. I kind of want to see it without Hill. With
And
Lamar Jackson, the same thing.
we have seen him without Hill, haven't we? I mean,
Yeah, but but nobody was like, I don't know. I kind of want to see it without Hill.
he was also. I mean, also you're talking about a guy that was shattering NFL records at the same time.
You're talking
What
about the
is?
guy in the top 10 in all the statistical records that matter for quarterbacks. Where historically all the dudes that have put up similar numbers to him have won the MVP. But at no point did we ever do this with any quarterback. The only other quarterback that people did this with is Tom Brady. Because it's like, well, he wins Super Bowls, but he always needs a kicker to bail him out. Remember that? Well, Adam Vinatieri really is the one who won the Super Bowls.
And for the longest time, a lot of people didn't believe that he was worthy of that. Yeah,
Yeah, and those
and I
arguments were
think those are just those are
crazy.
perfect. Those are perfectly justified.
Oh, come on.
Okay, dude. Do you think we'd be calling? You would have been calling Tom Brady the GOAT if after those first 2 Super Bowls, if he just didn't play well? The reason why we think of Brady the way we do now is because after those three, he was the guy that we thought he was. Well, I don't know that about Purdy. After those 3 Super Bowls, because in 2000
I was
five.
convinced.
That's you though. I'm talking about the general public. That's you.
Well, but
And
you're talking
again,
to me though. You're not
I
talking to
know,
the
but you're
general
talking. But
public.
you didn't have some skepticism, but like dang, like what if Brady doesn't play well without Willie McGinnis, Teddy Bruschi? That's a possibility. I think that's a valid concern to have. That makes sense.
Yeah, but you can
And
have
the fact that he did play well enough after those guys were gone is a testament to his greatness, and it solidifies him.
yes, but I saw Tom Brady against the greatest show on turf when the game is like under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, and John Madden, and you can go view this on
I've
YouTube.
seen it. Yeah, he tells them they shouldn't go for the
And
win or
John
shouldn't go.
Madden's
Yeah,
like, what
go
the
for
hell are
overtime.
these guys doing? Like,
Play
why
for
are
overtime.
they? And Brady just methodically drives them
Yeah,
down. And after that, I was like, bro, this guy, you can get all the stops you want. You can have Brewski and whoever else you want, Ty Law, and all those guys are really good. And it obviously it helps, obviously. But if your defense gives you the ball and they give it to whoever, and that guy can't deliver, Brewski and McGinnis and Ty Law, all these guys were just good dudes that never won anything. And I think, and I'm telling you from the standpoint of Jimmy Garoppolo was on a loaded 49er team in 2019 when we made the Super Bowl.
made the Super Bowl. Yeah,
You made the Super Bowl, but in that Super Bowl, we lost it because Jimmy Garoppolo could not make the plays that needed to be made. He couldn't make the throws that needed to be made. And you hear the Chiefs over and over again when they talk about that Super Bowl. It's like, well, our goal was to make Jimmy Garoppolo beat us over and over and over again. And so I think I think to kind of say, oh well, Purdy, he's on a loaded team. We kind of don't know. And maybe, I'm a 49er fan, so maybe I'm the wrong person to ask. But I've seen this. I've seen quarterbacks come and put up good numbers. CJ Beathard looked good for a few games with the Niners. Um, Nick Mullins looked good on a Thursday night versus the Raiders with the Niners. And I've seen it. But I have not seen a guy like Brock Purdy in this offense. And it's why when you hear the 49er players talk about Purdy, it's different than the way they talk about
oh, don't
Garoppolo.
hit with the that's my quarterback.
No,
I've
that
seen
no
that.
no 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 no
Yeah,
no no. It
they
it
should be doing
matters.
that.
No no
Of
no.
course it matters.
No, it
Of
does
course it
matter. No
does.
no no. It matters.
I said, of
Because
course it matters. What do you mean? No, no, no. I'm
no
agreeing with
no.
you.
Yeah, but it matters because when they would talk about Garoppolo, they would talk about a guy that was their guy. It's their friend. And you could just tell that there was like, yeah, I mean, Jimmy could be better. And yeah, I mean, but it's like, man, Jimmy's so awesome, dude. Like that guy. And with Purdy, it's not even like, it's like, no, no, no.
That's because Purdy's a better quarterback than Jimmy. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I don't think Purdy's the MVP.
I just think I think the goalpost is moved then. And I
Mm.
think yeah, because if you go look at the numbers, it's a different conversation. You're we don't have this. It wouldn't be ridiculous to say Brock Purdy is my MVP vote. If I tell you, Mahomes was second in the league with passing yards when he threw. Look, I saw this stat. I was like, I'm gonna share this.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna share this with David because so Brock Purdy is second in the league in passing yards.
Who's first?
Tua.
Two of them.
And then third is Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, and Patrick Mahomes. That's the top five. And Brock Purdy pass attempts is 444 passing attempts. You get Tua with 533, Goff with 573, Prescott with 554, Mahomes with 597. So Brock Purdy has less less passing attempts, and has more yards. And before anybody says, "Oh, he's a check down merchant," his numbers for how far the ball travels is one of the league leaders in football. He has less yard. Like I think when Rodgers won the MVP, the percentage of his yardage that came from yak was 54%. For Mahomes, it's 52%. For Brock Purdy, it's 49%. So I just think when it's cool, it's fine. I get the Lamar Jackson MVP stuff. I get it.
I'm not even talking about Lamar.
No, but I'm saying like I get the CMC. I get it. I understand it. I get like why you would have other dudes than Purdy. I'm not saying Purdy is a unanimous, but I think the idea that anyone is like, oh, Brock Purdy, come on. It's like, are you? What are we doing? Is he like? Does he have to put up like double that because he's penalized for being a good team unlike any other guy ever?
Yeah.
You got. I mean, Jalen Hurts is on a really loaded team and he's having a terrible season. I just think it's crazy. I just think it's crazy to penalize him for putting up numbers on a good team. And doing things that are very different than any other quarterback that's been there. Throwing the ball in ways that are just like crazy.
Danger. You're tripping. You're crazy.
You said no. Look, the question was a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, he hadn't played the Ravens yet, right? So a few weeks ago, yeah, I think Brock Purdy would have been my MVP.
Dang.
Now, no. Although yes, I honestly now, yeah, I would still give it to Purdy.
See, there it is. That's
I'd still
how
give
you're
it
being
to
irrational. That's right there. Yeah. Dang.
him.
Dang. Purdy's got them hoods deep in you, bro.
I
Dang.
just think if you're gonna
I bet you wanted
penalize,
to kill Cam Newton a few weeks ago, huh?
nah, look, Cam Newton is a dude that had one good season,
No, not just
and it
one
was a
good
fluke.
season. Come
Come
on.
on,
It was a fluke, bro.
go look at his numbers. He never put anything remotely close to that MVP season. It's fine. I don't. I'm so used to this Purdy stuff that it doesn't even affect. It's like whatever, dude. It's funny. It's okay, cool.
But you don't think it's justified until
No, because that just tells me you're not watching the games.
what?
Yeah, yeah. For you to say, it's like like if someone when people would say like, wow, it's because Tom Brady gets carried by Belichick. I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, it just tells me you're not watching the games. You're not watching day to day. You're not watching this guy make play after play after play, which is fine. So when people the Brock Purdy stuff just it's one of those like telling points of, well, you clearly haven't seen. You're not watching. You're kind of just regurgitating what Shannon Sharp and Cam Newton and all these guys are saying. So
I mean, it's not like those guys know football too, right? I mean, it's not like they're,
well, it's not like they're right. So I just think it's a tell. I told you this during the NBA Finals where people were like, "Man, Jokic is really good." And you're just like, "Yeah, I'm glad you finally are watching, and you get paid to talk about sports, so you kind of just started watching. Cool." So I just think it's a tell. You the dudes on TV that say these things, you're telling on yourself. You're not watching the games. You're watching highlights. You're not watching the games. So which is fine. It's cool.
man. If this is a big if,
Mm-hmm.
this is a big
Yeah.
if.
Yeah.
if in a few years Brock Purdy don't turn out to be that guy, I'm gonna pull up this pod and be like, dude, you were tripping. You were gonna
That's
give
fine.
this guy.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm not saying Brock Purdy is going to be Hall of Fame. I'm not saying he's the next anything. We're talking about 2023, 2024 season. And
not the best
this
player on his team,
season,
and you're gonna give him MVP.
I never said he was the best player on the team.
Shouldn't you at least be the best player on your team if you're gonna get MVP of the league?
I don't
You
know.
don't think that needs to be a prerequisite?
To be the best player on your team?
Yes, in order to be the best player in the league, you have to at least be the best player on your team if you're in the consideration.
Well, I don't think that's what the MVP is.
Here we go.
If the MVP was the best player in the league, Brady should have won it 16 straight years. He didn't win it 16 straight years. That's not
No,
what
there
the
were
award
guys. There were
is.
guys there were times that Brady should have gotten it over other guys. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers is very well deserving of some of the MVPs he got. Like, yeah, dude.
Aaron Rodgers was never better than Tom Brady.
But he was at least the best player on his team to be in that race. And if he puts up good numbers, it's like, oh man, like he's a good quarterback, man.
When Lamar Jackson won the MVP, he wasn't the best player in the league.
He was the most valuable.
I just don't think that the award is not who's the best player in the league.
Mm.
It's just that's not the award.
I mean, but even using that logic, I would say you could easily say CJ Stroud is more valuable to the Texans than Purdy is to the Niners. And same with Lamar with the Ravens. Or
Yeah.
CMC or Debo. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
Okay. Yeah. But that doesn't negate what Brock Purdy's doing. The Texans are not a good
no, what
team.
he's doing is what he's doing. But I'm saying as far as considering him in the MVP race, I'm just like, because even a few weeks ago, before the bad game, I was like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give Purdy the MVP.
You would have given it to CMC a few weeks ago?
Probably CMC or Tyreek. And I would still feel the same way.
Yeah, which is fair. It's fine. I get it. I just
It just sucks that those guys aren't even like. I mean, obviously, some people are putting them in the conversation, but
right.
the fact that they weren't like front runners for the fact that CMC isn't a front runner over Purdy, I'm like, dude, that's insane. I'm like,
I think I think the problem is they need to create a different award.
they got to make a QB award. They got to make just
Yeah.
like
They got to make a QB
because
award.
MVP. The fact that some defensive guys haven't gotten MVP, I'm just like, dang, dude. Like,
Yeah,
you can even argue this year. You can even argue that this year, like, not one player is really having like a all out every single game like great season. Like even with CMC and like Tyree, like the Dolphins have had like some rough games. The Niners obviously, so it's like Lamar's lost. So it's like not everyone is like a clear cut winner. So when that happens, I'm just like, man, like you know.
I think the MVP for the Niners, to be honest with you, it's Trent Williams. It's not even CMC. It's Trent Williams.
Oh, that's why. I mean, that's why I said Purdy's like he's fifth in that totem pole, bro. Like Debo, CMC, Trent Williams, Fred Warner, Brock Purdy, like all those guys. I'm like, dude, those guys are all super valuable.
Mm-hmm.
That defense without Fred Warner, like that's the captain of the defense, man.
But the Niners without Purdy are not number one seed. So I think that's
Yeah, but they still compete. They're still like dogs, man.
yes, but they drop a level.
Oh, anybody would without their starting quarterback, man. Come on.
I know, but I think that's the case because even though it's a team full of superstars and a lot of great players, you still need like if this was Jimmy Garoppolo was never in the MVP conversation because everybody knew this guy's just
Bro, you need to stop talking about Jimmy G. No one's talking about
no,
Jimmy G,
no, we
bro.
have to because Jimmy Garoppolo was in a
Okay, you
similar
think you think
spot.
if the Niners in that NFC Championship game last year,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
if Fred Warner gets hurt, you think they still win that game?
If Fred Warner was hurt and Purdy doesn't get hurt,
Yeah.
I think they still have a legitimate chance. Yes.
And I think he still had a chance without Purdy, but I mean the quarterback got
No,
hurt, so it comes down to level.
come on. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you did you watch that game? What are you talking about? As soon as Purdy went out
Dude,
and we knew he wasn't coming back,
that's all you guys. That's all them like, oh dude. Like that
nah, man,
yeah.
no, come on.
Yeah, bro.
There is no way. There is no
Dude.
way.
You know what that was the voodoo I put on him. As soon as Purdy got hurt, and I was like, I was over here working my magic, and I was like, they're gonna lose. That's it. That's it. That's all it is.
Well, I mean that wasn't much voodoo. That's pretty straightforward. The guy goes out and it is what it is. You had no real quarterback. But I mean, it's an interesting one because yeah, this year there isn't that clear cut guy that you're like, no, this guy's it, or two guys. That some Lamar's getting it by default because it's a QB award. Um, but yeah, I mean, I get if it's not Purdy, it would be CMC for me. I just think historically, the guy who puts up numbers like Purdy historically has won the MVP. And I think it's why this conversation is so like frustrating to me because it's like, dude, like it's one thing if he was not putting up the numbers he's putting up, it'd be one thing because then it's like, yeah, like he shouldn't win MVP. But you look historically of everyone who's put comparable numbers, and you're like, well, if they've all won it, then he should win it too by that logic. But it's like, no, not enough. And you're like, what? Like, okay, then what is the criteria different for him? And maybe it is. Maybe Purdy needs to do it next year too.
That
And maybe if he does it next year and
I
it's
don't see. I
healthy,
don't think that's a stretch to ask. It's like if I want to see if this guy's legit, I'm like, he needs to be like,
I understand that.
yeah.
I felt that way coming into this season when it was like, oh, franchise quarterback. I'm like, I don't know. Can I see it a full season? And we saw it a full season, and a full season of Brock Purdy is pretty good. Top level, top. He's putting up really, really good stats. And so, as much as we want to say Brock Purdy's being carried, I think he's doing a lot of the carrying too. And I think that's the difference. The difference between this year and different years is in the past when the Niners would lose, it wasn't because of Brady. It wasn't because of the quarterback. It was like, well, these things happen kind of. And when they would win, it was like, oh, this guy made a play. And now it's Brock Purdy made this play and Brock Purdy made that play. And yeah, this other guy made this play too. And I think it's a more even balanced attack this time around. And it's why to me it's different. That's why it's different to me because it's not just Shanahan calling a game to protect the quarterback. It's Shanahan kind of opening up the book for Purdy because he like believes that he can make a play. So I just it's different, and I'm probably too close. I'm too close. So I'm willing to admit my blind spot, and it's fine. But I just, if we're gonna look at numbers and we're gonna look at stats, and you're gonna tell me this guy is not deserving of it because of he has a good roster, I that to me isn't good enough. That's not a good enough reason not to give it to him, or because he's not the best player on the team. That's not a good enough reason to give it to him. It just isn't. So I just think it's pretty. It's a conversation that I'm realizing that the post gets moved for Brock Purdy, and so very similar to that early Brady stuff, which is, if that's the omen, if we got our Tom Brady 6th round pick, and we're about to go on a run of 20 years, I'm down.
You need
I'm
to
down.
you need to, you need to chill out. You need to stop. You're gonna get yourself too excited, bro.
No, I did that last part just to piss you off.
As soon as you said Brady, I was like, this man better not say. When you said 20 years, I was like, I'm out. I was like, no, like.
Oh man. Um I think the best game this weekend though, it's the Bills and the Dolphins. Because the Bills find themselves in a weird spot, because if they lose, then they need
So what else to lose?
yeah, they need Pittsburgh, who's playing the Ravens, and the Ravens are probably gonna sit everybody because the Ravens clinched everything. They need them to lose. They need Jacksonville to lose, and Jacksonville's playing at the Titans, which I don't see them losing. Or Houston and the Colts to tie. So they need a bunch. So the Bills are either going to be the number 2 seed, which is wild to think, or they're not going to be in the playoffs. It's just that cut and dry. So I think that's probably going to be
Dang,
the most important game
that's
of
intense.
Sunday, which is just happens to be the Sunday night game. And obviously the division, the AFC South, is still up for grabs. And so the Texans, for example, they need to win, and they need Jacksonville to lose to win the division. Now, they can get into playoffs, and they have to win or tie, I guess, but they have to win, and Jacksonville has to lose, and Pittsburgh has to lose, and then they get into playoffs if they lose versus the Colts. The Colts, to clinch the division, have to win, and they need Jacksonville to lose, and then, or if they tie, then Jacksonville loses, they win the division. They clinch the playoff if they win and Pittsburgh loses, then they're in. Pittsburgh is in if they win and Buffalo loses, they're in. And they're playing at Baltimore. Pittsburgh also, another scenario is they win and Jacksonville loses, they're in. Or they win and Houston, Indianapolis, and the Colts tie, then they're in. If Pittsburgh ties and Jacksonville lose and Houston and the Colts tie, then they're in. So it's just all these like dumb scenarios. Um, and then what other one is fun? AFC East, because that division is still technically up for grabs. But the Cowboys are at Washington, and the Cowboys are not that good on the road, which is like a little thing. But Washington isn't really playing for anything. And Washington, because of the draft order, if they lose, they are locked into the number 3 seed, and that bumps the Patriots down to number 4. So Washington really has no incentive to win. The Cowboys, if they win the division. Um, and that's pretty as straightforward as it gets. The Bucks for the AFC for the terrible NFC South. If they win, they go into the division. But they can get into the playoffs if they tie, and if Seattle loses and Green Bay loses, then they're in. So the Bucks, if they win, they're in, and it's over. The Falcons, they need to win, and they need to hope that the Buccaneers lose versus the Panthers. Um, and New Orleans is a similar spot. They have to win, and Tampa Bay has to lose. The Eagles need they need help from the Commanders to clinch the division. They need to win, and they need Dallas to lose, and then they get the division. Um, the Eagles are bad, huh? Like who would have thought they would have been?
Shout out to your homies, the Eagles. You know,
Yeah. Cry, Eagles cry. That's crazy, bro. And then
that's a thing though, isn't that like the Super Bowl like slump
it
thing? Like
is. Yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
lose the Super Bowl, the
It
season
is.
after you're kind of like, eh. Like I remember the Steelers when they lost to the Packers. I was thinking like, man, this game's gonna be good. Like Rashard Mendenhall and all these guys, and and then I thought they were gonna go back to the Super Bowl, and then you
Nope.
know,
Yeah.
which real quick, little question right here,
Mm-hmm.
because I've heard you talk about this guy,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like Marvin Lewis 2.0. If you were the owner or whoever's in charge of Steelers, you fire Mike Tomlin after the season. Like, when is enough enough? You know what I mean?
Um,
Because it's like they're winning seasons, but nothing is coming of them. Like, there's no, you know,
I would because Mike Tomlin at this point it's funny because it's like, oh, he did it again, 500.
yeah. I saw another post with 17 or however many it is, this many winning seasons, and I'm like,
And you're just like,
bruh, like,
so that just means you're average. So we're celebrating someone being a mediocre coach. Is that like that's what it is? It's a
yeah,
celebration of mediocrity.
mediocrity. Yeah,
And it's it's tough because I think a lot of it is the race stuff that has like infiltrated sports. That if Mike Tomlin gets fired on, whether it's Stephen A or one of these guys would do the
yeah, yeah.
if he was a white quarterback, if he was a white coach, and you're just like, okay. And I think that's what makes this conversation for the owners
Yeah, yeah,
tough.
yeah. The running joke that I heard when like Marvin Lewis was with the Bengals, and
Yeah.
for the longest time he was just kind of there too, like just kind of.
Yeah. He would make the playoffs and never win a
Yeah, yeah.
game.
The little like fake conspiracy was like, dude, he must have some dirt on the GM or the owners to keep that job, bro. Because it's like, and so I'm thinking like, dude, what if Tomlin has like some like he's got some stuff under the rug for like I'm like, oh,
I mean, maybe.
it's like, oh.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it is just
Because
perception.
then look at, do you think maybe they're scared? Like, do you think they're maybe scared too? Like, what if they fire him and then the Steelers just go completely like, you know?
But the Steelers are one of the premier franchises. I mean, anyone's gonna want to take that job.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's perception, like he wins enough to not suck. So it's like
He wins
they
enough to be like likable. He's like, ding,
yeah,
like,
and everyone loves his like press conferences because he's like the keep it real guy,
yeah.
which is another thing I just hate that shtick of I just keep it real, and you're like
Like, how about you
they,
keep real with them game plans and win some more games?
well,
You
it's
know,
like
like,
well,
yeah,
typically the guys that have to tell you they keep it real are the dudes that
don't
like
keep it real. That
don't
aren't
keep
keep
it
it real.
real. So it's just I just think like, well, I mean, what's the goal? Is the goal to just win 8 games and play the last week and hopefully you get in the playoffs and get bounced? Like,
Yeah.
so I would fire him, but I'm also like on the very short list of people that have been calling out Mike Tomlin and Greg Popovich and these dudes that like were at one time good coaches, but it's like, are we sure though? Or like, are we sure you're a good coach now? Because
But
like
Pop won a bunch of rings, didn't he?
no, yeah, at one
Yeah.
time, but I'm saying like now, like you see the way
Right, right,
things are
right.
run now, and you're like, man, are we sure? Like, or like you were great, but maybe you're
Yeah.
old. Like, and I think it's different with with Belichick because Belichick, it's like, I think you're too old to be a general manager. I think you're too old to like do the player personnel stuff, but God, you're an amazing coach. I've loved watching the Patriots the last few weeks because you could just tell the fire of Belichick as a coach is
Yeah.
still there. And so I hope he stays with the Pats because I love seeing legends stay in one spot. I love it. Like I hate
Yeah.
that there is an entire I hate I love Brady, but I hate the idea that he won a seventh Super Bowl not in New England. I hate that that exists. I hate that Tampa Bay Brady exists because he's a legend. You know, like Tom Brady is gonna be a he's a Patriot forever,
No, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I just hate that like the Patriots weren't like, nah, dude, you're not wearing another uniform. Like, no way.
See that's on them though. And at that point,
No,
Brady is
no, I
thinking,
agree.
okay,
I'm not
I'm gonna.
blaming. I'm yeah,
No,
for
yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. But I'm saying like I like that it exists it because of the way things are playing out now, it
Of
does
course,
solidify Brady as the thing that made them go. I
yeah.
mean, unless Belichick comes back next season and like we're like, you know what, they're improving. Like, you know, if we don't see that from Belichick, if they give him another year or however long he has, I don't know what his contract is, but if he turns it around, then it's like,
But I don't know. I mean,
okay, you're kind of making the conversation interesting.
the
But
last 7 weeks, he's like the Patriots team is a terrible team, but
yeah,
they're just like in these games. They haven't gotten blown out. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like that's that kind of stuff gets just if he ends up somewhere else, it's just gonna suck. It's just
Do you
gonna
like Bill Burr? You're a Bill Burr guy, right?
yeah, I like Bill Burr, yeah.
I saw like they asked him about the Pats because he's a Boston guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm pissed that they want to get rid of Belichick." And I'm like, And me, he's like, I was like, I don't know, Bill. You kind of like, dude.
So you're good. You're good. Like, all right, Bill, go somewhere else. Sayonara.
I could do another year. I'm willing to give him like, but because how many? This is the second season, right? Second season without Brady. Third.
No, third, no.
This is the third. This is the third. But it's been he has the two.
Yeah, yeah.
I would give him in total 5 seasons. So two more seasons after this. And if there's no kind of like upward trend or some kind of like fight, I'm like, I if I'm working for the Pats, I'm thinking I don't need to see like the Mike Tomlin effect take place. I don't like I will know when to cut it off and be like, you know what, let's just try something different,
See, but I think the problem there is I would just tell him like, dude, we'll build a team for you, just coach. Because I think that's where he's at now. And that's fine. That's where he's at.
Oh yeah.
Um, speaking of like perception and stuff, um, I said this a few weeks ago, and you kind of like push back. Um, Antonio Pierce.
Oh, here we go. I knew you were going there with this. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Look, I think that situation is strictly 100% a McDaniel, a Josh
Like
McDaniel.
backlash effects.
Yeah, people hated him.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
liked him. So I think you could have brought in like whoever and it would have been better. Because they hated that guy so much. Because like the Raiders go from they lose to the Colts. They beat the Chiefs in a game where the Chiefs should have won because the Raider quarterback didn't complete a pass in after the first half. That's unheard of. Unheard of. I was like, what is going? Like, are you gonna lose to a team that hasn't completed a pass? It was mind boggling to see that result. they don't score versus the Vikings in a game that just
Three
was
zip.
like, it's like, what is, like, is this like soccer? What are
Yeah,
we, like,
yeah.
what's
It's baseball too.
sport
You
is
actually,
this?
yeah, three zip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
baseball. Then they put up 63 versus the Chargers, and the Chargers team that really were, they had
shout
a
out to
coach
Staley.
they
Yeah,
hated. So it just, I don't know, man. I mean, he's gonna probably get excited. I just wonder how
hey,
much of.
hey, Germ. Let me stop you right there.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
stop
yeah,
you.
yep.
You're valid. I can see. Yes, I'm not. You know, yeah, you're right. It's there's a question mark on there. It's like, can this
It's
guy
not
actually?
it's not Dan Campbell. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like, I don't know. Like this team hated their coach before. It
Yeah,
might just be that simple. Like you take somebody you hate out of the equation, you're gonna be happy.
yeah. And I heard. So I heard my buddy mention this. Like, the one that I told you that likes Ten Hag and you don't like Ten Hag. Because he's a coach, right?
Right,
So
right.
I was at we just because we always talk sports, right? So he was talking about like coaching philosophies, and he was like, I've seen some coaches that like they're not the most what's the word I'm looking for? They're not these like coaching wizards,
Hmm.
but they can get guys to buy in, and they can get guys to they get the most out of the guys. And he's like, sometimes I've seen those coaches do better than the coaches that are these wizards, but they're just like unlikable. And he's like, that's the thing. That's an effective coaching sometimes. Like you have guys that can really like get the players to like they relate to them, they have them buy in, and they might not be the best coaches, but they can outwork other coaches because of that devotion and
Hmm.
passion.
Yeah.
Um, and very well could be. I mean, yeah, if they hated McDaniel so much, and if they're willing to play for this guy, I mean, cool. But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy for him if he like got the job. But if he didn't, I'd be like, I can see why they didn't want to, because like, and it's like at that point, it's like, do you give him like a I don't know. You can't give him like a long contract because it's like, what if he ends up not being the guy? What if it's like another? What if next season we're just like, damn, this guy kind of lost that hype and he can't really win any more games, blah blah, and then they're stuck with him for another. So, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, yeah, that's that. I mean, that's tricky.
It's just like the Raiders went through this a few years ago when when they fired what's his name, Gruden.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They fired Gruden and they got Rich Bisaccia, and he went 7-5. They went they were second, and they actually made the wild card. And they almost beat Cincinnati. It was like a pretty controversial
yeah,
loss. But you knew, like, well, nobody really liked John Gruden and the Raiders anymore. And here comes, this guy who has moxie and personality, and the dude's just, supposedly love play. But it's like, okay, but this can't be your coach. And I think there's a difference in how you go about constructing the coaching, because Dan Campbell has a really good staff. It's not just this guy who just does rah
the
rah
rah rah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a legitimate. He has legit coaches around him. And yeah, I do agree. You have to be good. Um you have to have a game plan, because this is I saw this with the Mexican national team with El Piojo. El Piojo is Antonio Pierce, rah rah, but you see the Mexican team, and you're like, dude, these guys have no game plan. But he, like, he's your Theo who's like, come on, échale ganas, like, go. And so
Yeah.
people like that dude because he's like a hype guy. But at the highest level, you're gonna get cooked. And so Mexico would be in games, and it's like, oh well, they have passion, and you're like, yeah, okay, but when you're dealing with these teams that have game plans and their coaches are they know how to scheme stuff, Mexico was always in trouble. So, and I think that's the Raiders. That would be the Raiders if they get Antonio Pierce, because I think this is 100%, 100%. Everyone hated McDaniels, so therefore it's like, man,
Would it be safe to say McDaniel's like a Tata Martino? Like supposed to be a good coach, but no one cared. Like no one likes him.
no, because El Tata's won. I hate him, but he's won
Well,
significant.
McDaniel's won as like an assistant coach. Like
No, I know, but
that's the kind of like
no, but El Tata has won real stuff in Europe, so it's just like it's not the same. As much as I hate him, it's just I don't know. It's just I don't. It's so weird. Like, cause like he's obviously a good offensive coordinator. It's just some dudes just don't have the personality to lead a team. It's weird. It's
yeah.
personality. I think with coaches has like matters a lot.
Also, yeah, man, do you think it's not worth it to see what Antonio Pierce can do with the full like off season and everything? Like it's like because like when he came in, they were already how many games deep into the season?
Yeah, they were pretty deep. Um,
Would it when like if you were the Raiders, would you think, you know what, I he steered the boat as best he could during this season, but we're gonna go for a new guy, or do you say, you know what, let's see if he can do?
no, if
Because I'm
I'm
like
the
Campbell, I'm a gambler. I mean, call me reckless. I'll be like, oh, sure, I'll take the.
no, because I think you have a chance to do something like to kind of start from scratch. Like if I'm the Raiders after Monday's game, the national championship game, Tuesday morning, I'm flooding Jim Harbaugh's phone because I mean I
No,
or
yeah.
because to me Antonio Pierce is a stopgap. Maybe Antonio Pierce can become a really, really good coach, Dan Campbell esque. But also Dan Campbell, his offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, he's probably going to get a head coaching job this year, and I think next year we'll see. Okay, well we'll see how good that offense is, and I think that's a lot of these head coaching jobs is a can you be a good CEO?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was watching the Michigan Alabama game, and I was explaining to Stephanie how a lot of these head coaches aren't calling every single play because they would put the camera on like Nick Saban or Jim Harbaugh, and
Yeah,
they don't have a play sheet, and they're like, wait, I thought they called the game. I'm like, no, they're there to manage it pretty much, so they'll decide like, no, I don't want to go for it on fourth down, or yeah, let's go for it, or hey, let's do a run play here, or hey, like
right.
obviously they can override everything.
Yeah, but they'll be
They
like,
call a
yo, like,
timeout.
what do you got for me for the offensive coordinator? Like,
Yeah,
hey, what do you think? Like, yeah,
yeah, and I was telling her how there's you have to there's few like I think McVay and Shanahan are the only ones that call like the game, but those two dudes are like you know super smart when it comes to that. So you almost wouldn't want anybody else. If you have Shanahan McVay, you kind of want those two dudes to. run the show offensively, but and I think it's just I don't know, man. I'm not convinced with Antonio Pierce. I know everybody loves him, and I know everyone's like, "Oh man, the great story." I just like I don't know, doesn't look great. Cool, like he rocks the black Air Force Ones, and again, this is the Mike Tomlin effect. Mike Tomlin he has the glasses, he looks relatable, he's cool, he's tough, no nonsense, supposedly. And it's
Yeah,
okay.
but with Mike Tomlin, like we know what happens. That's like
I
we've
know, but
seen it.
there's so many people that drink that Kool-Aid, bro. It's so crazy. Like the fact that he has Mason Rudolph on the bench and he kept playing Mitchell Trubisky. It's like, dude, I think Mason Rudolph, your third stringer, is the best quarterback of the three quarterbacks you played this year. Like that's malpractice. What the hell's wrong with you, bro? Like, are you serious? Like what's because for as much heat as McVay got, as much heat as Shanahan got for the whole Trey Lance thing, and McVay when he traded away Jared Goff, and it's like, wow, he took it like you made a Super Bowl with this guy. It's like comes a time where it's like, but you gotta cut bait, bro. Like that, and so I don't know that kind of stuff. To me,
Mhm.
I feel like Antonio Pierce is in that. He's more that guy than he is Dan Campbell,
Mm.
and I think I would be I would. I'm not a Raider fan by any stretch, and the Raiders could suck forever for all I care. But um,
I have a soft spot for the Raiders. I think and it sucks because I always try to give them like love, like the fans,
well,
and
yeah,
they're always like, "Oh, cool," and they're like, "Who's your team?" And I'm like,
you're a Patriot fan.
"The Pats," and they're like, "Oh, like, It goes deep though, bro. Like, bro. My dad would tell me stories about Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson,
I know,
Tim
but
Plunkett. You
it's like
know,
you're
I
like the
honestly wish I could have been born into a Raider family sometimes
oh, interesting.
because of the mystique, bro. Could you imagine me in a Howie Long jersey walking down the street, bro?
I could.
Raider cap, black Air Force Ones. I would scare the living daylights like out of white people. I'd be like,
I
I'm
could
I'm the
picture
homie. I'm the homie.
you'd be a miserable NFL fan, but yeah.
I would. But dude, okay, because you know how annoyed I get with you when you're. Could you imagine me screaming out Raiders at the top of my lungs, bro?
I
So
could.
I have a soft spot for Antonio Pierce. That's why I'm always
Uh,
like, yeah, good for him. Yeah.
I mean, I
That I'm
guess.
telling you, that's why I'm telling you, like you with Purdy, like you're like maybe I'm being irrational. I'm probably being irrational with Antonio Pierce because of my love for the Raiders.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. I get that. That makes
But
sense.
yeah.
Um I want to do the Kyle Shanahan and McVay kind of storyline. Um we went through the games that matter already because that's this year is not as like chaotic as other years. But I told Angel, shout out to Angel, I was gonna do the McVay Shanahan kind of timeline because you're gonna hear it a lot during the game on Sunday. So this is where it's at. I want to start way back when.
Yeah,
It's
paint the
night.
scene.
Yeah, it's 1980, and in 1980, the 49ers hire John McVay, who is the grandfather of Sean McVay, and they hire John McVay, and he becomes the vice president of of football administration. Then he goes to like player personnel, and then from 98 to 99, he was his last year with the Niners. He was the GM. He was one of the main guys that orchestrated building the Super Bowl rosters that won 5 Super Bowls with the Niners. So he has 5 Super Bowls as an executive. His name in Levi Stadium is there. He's in the 49er Hall of Fame. That's John McVay. Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan's father, gets to the 49ers in 1992. And he's there from 1992 to 1994. He's the offensive coordinator both years. And the first year he was the quarterback's coach. He wins a Super Bowl with the Niners as an assistant coach. And so that's that where they kind of intersect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Shanahan then goes to the Washington Redskins in 2010. But in 2008, Sean McVay gets hired by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and John Gruden, who was the coach at the time, he works under him, and Bruce Allen, who later becomes the Washington Commanders and Redskins at the time, he becomes the GM and the president of football operations in Washington later on. So he gets hired under John Gruden, and he starts working there. 2010, Mike Shanahan takes over the coaching at Washington, and he brings his son Kyle Shanahan to run the offense. And because Bruce Allen takes over that job in Washington 2010, he he asks Mike Shanahan to interview McVay, and McVay gets hired in that staff. So that's where you get the pictures of, you get McVay, you get LaFleur, who's the Green Bay coach, and you get Shanahan, Kyle. And obviously with that, there's Mike McDaniel who's there. So it's just like the whole little gang.
The melting pot, yeah.
Yeah. So in 2010, they kind of get together, and Shanahan in an interview said that he came in and they called him the boy wonder. That's what they called McVay, because he was like super smart. And obviously he comes from a football family, and all that. They had the exact same haircut, and he was, according to Shanahan, he was buffer. He was more jack. And this is all according to Shanahan. And that's why they called him boy wonder. He gets asked the question by Mike Shanahan during the interview, and he goes on a 45-minute explanation on that play. And that's when the Shanahans were like, yep, we got the right guy. He becomes so he takes over the tight ends coach. He's a tight ends coach during that time. And he was working under Kyle Shanahan, because Kyle Shanahan was running the offense. And then they both get fired. They both get fired when Mike Shanahan gets fired. So Mike and Kyle get fired from Washington. McVay stays with Gruden, Jay Gruden in Washington.
Gruden, yeah.
And then Shanahan goes to the Browns, and then he goes to the Falcons, and that's where he takes Matt LaFleur with him to Washington. But they've been friends since then. So it's that connection from Washington that they just forged. And obviously there's the 49er history too. And now in 2017, they were two of the most sought after young coaches. The NFL coaching jobs were becoming younger, and they were going to younger dudes, and they were at the top of the line. Obviously, at the time, the Rams and the Niners were looking for coaches. The Niners, now Shanahan does this thing where he's with the Falcons. That's the 28-3 Super Bowl. And he tells everybody, I'm not interviewing till after the Super Bowl. And he interviews with the Broncos, I think, and the Niners. He never interviewed with the Rams, because the Rams were out interviewing the guy we just finished, Josh McDaniels. They were interviewing Josh McDaniels, but there was like a snowstorm in New England at the time. They couldn't get back. They just couldn't, because of the weather, they could never make it back in time to interview Shanahan. The Niners interviewed McVay, and they interviewed Shanahan, and the Niners wanted Kyle Shanahan. The Rams offer the job to McVay. McVay takes it. The Niners offer the job to Shanahan, who thinks it over. He was gonna take the Denver job because his dad coached in Denver, won Super Bowls in Denver. And then he chose the Niners because the Niners, I think, gave him more control of the team. And they both coached. They're the same division. They're friends since 2010. Same division since 2017. McVay has had more success than Kyle. But Kyle head to head has had more success versus McVay, which is interesting. And that's where we're at. That's the story. That's the connection between these two coaches. That I like both, and I hope Shanahan stays on the Niners forever. I hope he. To me, Kyle Shanahan is this generation's Andy Reid, and I think if the Niners get rid of Shanahan, because Niner Twitter is like super toxic. Like I know you think I'm toxic, but there's Niner fans on.
No, I don't think you're toxic, Jerm. I know if
Okay, then there's
don't
okay.
yeah, don't do
Okay,
that to
well
me.
I'm glad. I'm glad. But
Yeah.
there are Niner fans, bro, that have like you're
They're very
just you're
they're
like
fickle, so to speak. They're always like on to the next thing. Like
bro, you're just like, what the hell are you talking? Like, I've read stuff where it's like we need to fire Shanahan, and you're just like, and bring who, you moron?
yeah.
Who? Like, what are you talking about? And I think so. Yeah, man. So that's the connection between those two guys. So shout out to Angel. That was for him. Um, and that's why like there's always that
Dang.
rivalry because
Okay.
they're friends. It'd be like
Yeah.
me and Angel coaching against each other. It's like he's my boy, but I kind of I always want to beat him. So
Yeah.
or you and I coaching against each other, I'd always want to beat
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You're my guy forever,
I
but
would run it up. I'd be like
I'd run it.
I I'd be like when the Raiders scored 63 on the Chargers, I'd be like
We're
no
going for
mercy.
it on
Like,
fourth down.
yeah.
You're up by 35 with
Dude,
6 minutes left. Go for
just
it.
to show you how like Sammy is, I'm just like, dude, you make no sense. You're stupid. So on New Year's Day, when I sent you the picture of like my Letterman, right?
Yeah,
My dad
that's a
pulled
nice
out.
Letterman.
Thank you. My dad pulled out the my high school tapes. Like he
Right.
and I was like, dude, I don't want to watch that. Like, nah, like I don't know. I'm like kind of like I don't want to say I'm jaded, but I'm just like it's just kind of weird. Like it's been a while. I'm just like,
Yeah.
So my brother, they put a game on, and they
Mhm.
put a game on against it was a team we like crushed them on offense. We scored like 42 points, and we scored like our second touchdown. And so Sammy was like, "So y'all aren't gonna go for two?" And I was like, "Dude, it's the first quarter. We're just like you're feeling the game out." I'm like, also I'm not I'm playing left tackle. I'm not calling like the offense. I'm like, why on earth would you go for two? No one in the NFL goes for two unless it's like a do or die type situation. Or I'm just like, so that's what Sammy's on. Sammy's like, are you not going to go for two? You're not going to like crush him. I'm like, we won the game. Like we killed them. I was like, what? There's no need to go for two. Like you only go
Right.
for two if you like missed an extra point and you're trying to like, put a point in the bank for later or something. Or if it's like the end of the game and you're like, oh, if you go for two now, they have to score a touchdown instead of a field goal. Like, so I'm like, dude, that's just situational football. Like, you don't need to go for two. But Sam is vicious. Sam is like, why wouldn't you go for two if you guys are crushing them? And I'm like, there's no need. Like, bros, like, stop. So,
Oh man.
but that's how he is. So I just so you would know what it's like coaching against Sammy. He would just like, he's reckless. He'd be out here like trying to
Yeah.
go for it all. But okay. But I was gonna ask you with
Yeah.
Shanahan and McVay,
Mm-hmm.
because they're still both pretty young, right?
Yeah.
They coached. Okay, because like where I'm going with this is this. Like with Belichick, you always hear about like the Belichick tree of coaches, the guys
Mm-hmm.
underneath, and they never seem to pan out, right? Yeah. McDaniels, Patricia, Flores, I think, right? All these guys. Even at one point, like wasn't like Nick Saban, like when he was coaching the NFL, he's technically under Belichick, you know they're both old, but still,
Yeah,
they're like
technically, yeah.
associated, right?
Right.
Um, is it safe to say that they're under that Kyle and Sean are under Mike's tree? Like, is there a tree here? I'm kind of getting tree vibes, but I'm not sure. Like, where do they fall? Because I feel like they're kind of spread out. It's not as like directional as like Belichick and everyone under him.
Yeah,
But there's some
it's
history there, like you said. Like they have a lot of history on both families.
well, I think
You know?
it's the Shanahan tree because Kyle Shanahan because Shanahan was the because McVay has said that Kyle was his boss in the Washington.
Right.
So he was under so a lot of it this so yeah, I mean I guess there is like an overlap because Kyle obviously runs a lot of the scheme that his dad ran with Denver
Yeah.
and everywhere else. Um so yeah, so it's I think if you want to be completely like there, I guess is the Mike Shanahan tree, which is impressive because it's like Kyle. Kyle is like the sub tree, I guess. But under Kyle, it's Mike McDaniel, Matt LaFleur, Gary Kubiak, who won the Super Bowl versus the Panthers with the Broncos. So that's all under the Mike Shanahan tree. Sean Mc,
Wow.
Sean McVay, obviously. Um, you get dudes like Anthony Lynn, who was the Chargers coach for a while, and how he's on the Niners. Kevin Stefanski, the Browns coach. Arthur Smith, who's the Falcons coach now. So it's a pretty impressive
Yeah.
tree because I mean maybe Andy Reid has something that's like comparable. Let me
Yeah.
see. Let me see his. But even Andy Reid, I think Andy Reid comes from like Bill Walsh. Because so under Andy Reid's pretty good too. Sean McDermott, John Harbaugh, Matt Nagy, who's not good, Doug
Uh-huh.
Peterson, Ron Rivera, who was with the Panthers for all those years, Todd Bowles, Pat Shermer, respected coach, Leslie Frazier, Steve Spagnola, Brad Childress. So I mean, it's not a bad tree.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think all these dudes come from uh, Bill Wash because his tree is like John Holmgren and like he's the dude one of the dudes who like founded the West Coast
West Coast
offense.
offense. Yeah, yeah.
So he has like Dennis Green who's known for the whole like they are who we thought they were and we let them off the hook.
We let him off the hook. Yeah, yeah.
That's that guy. So you get like the Bill Walsh has, I guess, the more notable names. Brian Billick, who was the coach of the Ravens, that
Yeah,
awesome
2000 Ravens.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get um, Mike Holmgren, who was with the Packers and the Seahawks for all those years. Steve Mariucci, former Niner head coach. John Gruden was there. Bill Callahan coached the Raiders. Mike Tomlin, who we finished talking, he's in that tree with Mike Holmgren. Raheem Morris, who's on the Rams. Andy Reid. And Andy Reid's just the one that I read. Then you get
Yeah.
yeah. So
Dang.
it's a pretty interesting tree. So yeah, I guess we would credit Kyle. No, not Kyle. Mike Shanahan for that tree, but under Kyle, it's a pretty good tree too.
Yeah. Dang.
What's funny is they just announced the Niners. I told Angel like I'm pretty sure Kyle's gonna text McVay and just be like, "Hey, what if I start Sam Darnold and you start Carson Wentz and we kind of just take it easy Sunday?" And because I'm like, they're boys. Why wouldn't they do that? And sure enough, I mean, they didn't say that they texted each other, but the Niners announced and the Rams announced at the same time, separately, obviously, that Carson Wentz will be the starter and and Sam Darnold will be the starter. So that's funny. I think that
Dang.
there's an understanding, a wink, wink. Let's get into playoffs healthy. No crazy business. Let's just
Dang.
so
That's cute. I like that, you know.
that's.
They're
I
home.
mean, that makes sense, right? You're
No,
both
yeah,
in the.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're both in. If we were both coaching against each other, we're both in the playoffs. I'd be like, hey, dude, like, let's go hard if we meet in the playoffs. But let's get there with all our
Yeah, yeah.
with all the important parts. Um, yeah,
Dang. It's pretty like when as I hear you talk about like this tree, I just can't like and I'm gonna ask like what is it do you think about Bill with his like disciples that like just hasn't worked out for them? Like what do you think's going on over there? It's kind of weird, no?
I think it's the. I think what I
The,
think
the,
it's
the only guy I can think of that has like a somewhat like steady thing going for him, and he wasn't even a coach of Bills, but Mike Vrabel as a player was like a good Pats player, and
right.
he's like solid. I think he's like respected. Um, but other than that, I'm like all the other guys are like pretty god awful.
I think the thing you get there, and you get the sense from just like other stuff that like comes out from Belichick, is I think there's a lot of gatekeeping
Mm,
where I think Belichick kind of just isn't sharing all the recipes. My mom does this. My mom's like a huge like I'm not giving you the recipe, so she'll give you like the main stuff, but she'll withhold like the special ingredients.
yeah, yeah, whatever makes it like just that much better. Like,
Yeah, and I think Belichick is does that with his coaches. And I
ooh,
think with Kyle and his dad, I think because I think what it is, it's a sharing of ideas. So I'm gonna give you this idea, you're gonna give me that idea, and together we're gonna create something better. But I think Belichick, it's more, well, this is mine, so I'll
yeah, just
give
do what I tell
you.
you. Don't ask questions.
And
Like,
I think that's what it is because how many teams have tried to like replicate the Patriot model, and it's like how come it doesn't work anywhere else? And obviously part of it is you don't have Tom Brady everywhere. So I think
yeah,
that hurts. But I think also Belichick doesn't share everything because I don't know. The last 7 weeks, dude, I've been super impressed by the Patriots because the things they've done, and you just see it like it's Belichick just game plan after game plan, just putting these games together and giving the team with Zappy or Matt or Mac an opportunity. Like they should beat the Bills on Sunday.
yeah,
Like and even like the Chiefs, like that was a really close game throughout. So I just think it's one of those things that he doesn't share everything.
everything. Yeah.
And because of that, I think the tree kind of wavers.
Mm.
Because it's the same somebody who has a bad coaching tree and it's like a legendary coach is Phil Jackson. Like
Ooh, yeah,
everyone who's like followed Phil and wanted to like I'm gonna implement this, and it's like yeah, it kind of doesn't work if
if Phil isn't there,
yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's where people knock Phil Jackson because it's like, well, is it the triangle or is it Michael? Is it Michael? Is it Pippen? Is it Kobe? Is it Shaq? But I
yeah.
think it's more so he purposely doesn't give you everything. So I think that's why you don't get the results that he's
Dude,
capable.
man, I had this teacher at this professor at ELAC. This guy was nuts, dude. This guy was like,
Yeah.
I ended up dropping the class. I
Right.
can't even remember this guy's name, but he was a coach at ELAC, I think for like women's basketball or something.
Yeah.
This little Cuban guy.
Right.
this guy, from the first class, everyone was like, "Dude, this guy, like, I'm missing a screw top." He was intense, but he would always rave about how it wasn't Phil Jackson with both stints with like the Bills, with the Bulls, and with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe since you watch more basketball, you would know if you know this guy's name. And I looked into it and I was like, okay, this guy is a coach, but I was like, as far as I know, like I don't know if this guy's actually all this guy said he was. But
Yeah.
Tex Winters,
Yeah.
he said that guy was the real reason why Phil was successful in those two stints. And I was like, and that at the time, I was like I said, I was like 18. I was like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. So bye. But
Well, I think Tex Winter is
is
the
he like an
guy.
assistant coach on the staffs or something?
Well, he's credited as being the inventor of the triangle, and he showed it to Phil Jackson. Now,
Oh.
my pushback to that when people say that is you can come up with something, but if you're not able to produce it, then
Implement it, yeah.
it's just an idea. Like and so he's like the guy who writes all the songs but can't sing them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And Phil Jackson's the guy who couldn't write the song, but he could perform the hell out of them. So I push back. I think that's a very lazy kind of knock because he,
Because I'm assuming Tex Winters didn't have runs like the Bulls and Lakers elsewhere. Like,
well,
by himself.
Tex Winter never coached in the NBA. He
Oh.
was he was the guy who was comfortable helping Phil Jackson. That's interesting. Like his makeup was different. He wasn't trying to, and I think a lot of it is not everybody has the personality to be a coach, head
Mm,
coach. It's a whole like Josh McDaniel thing we talked about. Like I think
yeah.
some dudes are really good at being coordinators, and some dudes are built to be coaches, and you got to find your lane.
Yeah.
And Tex
Yeah.
Winter was super comfortable in his lane because Kobe talks about how he would talk to Tex Winter a lot to like understand the triangle and all that.
Oh.
So it just yeah, but Phil was a great coach. Like Belichick, yeah, I think too, it's I think it's but I think the difference is that they both well the similarities I don't think they emptied the book with their disciples. So it's why
Mm.
you get such a checkered or not even checkered, just a bad tree.
Yeah. A tree that withers up and dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to
Exactly.
Bill.
So yeah. Um last thoughts?
I don't think so. Death to the Niners, man. That's it. That's all I'm on. It just
Death to the Niners.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. No,
Oh,
I'm ready. I'm ready for some playoff football, man.
oh man, should be fun.
Yeah.
I I like I like that the Niners have the bye week. That first weekend, it's just like, whew, just relax. Let's just enjoy these games. Because that division round, the anxiety gets pushed all the way up, the nervousness, and it's
Are
like
we in
you're.
store for like a fresh batch of like German game time tweets?
Oh
That's what I look for.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. So
Good.
all these incoherent tweets of just craziness. So
Yeah. They're
yeah,
either like anger or joy. I'm like, oh.
and sometimes you can't even tell. It's
Yeah.
like
Well,
both.
sounds like I'm like, like, oh my god.
Oh man, Twitter at that point just becomes like therapeutic. I need to release this energy. So
It's like your little like diary, but we could all read it.
yeah, here you
Like
go,
sports
Twitter.
diary.
So yeah, that's
Dang,
that's
what? Dude, there was
that's
a tweet of yours, and I was like, what is this? See if I can remember it. Dang. What was it? Oh, okay. This tweet. This was the college football. Okay,
Yeah.
but it was regarding the Pac-12. You're like, are we sure we can't keep the Pac-12? I think it's
Yeah.
just a little too late for the Pac-12, man.
It is. It is. It just.
And it is sad. It's like it when I first heard like mention of this, where they're like, "Oh, they're all," I was like, "What do you mean? The Pac-12 is the Pac? Like it's a like it's a staple." And I was like, "Dude, like USC," and then like, "Oh, USC is moving," and I'm like, "It's sad, man."
It is. That's.
Yeah, yeah. It's just because they've all until this Washington team. It's like, dude, like I remember USC lost in a bowl game to like was it like Tulane University? I'm like in a shootout. I'm like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah. It's too late, but it's just.
and
It's
I
just.
will say this. I will say this.
Mhm.
It might blow up in his face, but we talked about this because when we last talked about this, you were like, "Oh, the big schools will still be the big schools." I'm like, "Yeah, that's true," but like, Dion's moving some pieces over at Colorado. Like, I'm like, "Oh, so and so transferring from this school, so and so signing," and I'm like, dang, these guys are kind of like because like the main thing was like the online. That was one of the things he talked about where it's like, oh, the online. I
Right.
just don't have like, but some of these signs, I'm like, damn, that's a big boy, dude. That guy's like 6'5". Like I'm like, or a transfer from like he got a tight end, and I'm just like, oh, and of course they post a picture of him with Dion, and I'm like Dion's here, and the tight end is like, I'm like, oh god, okay, so we might see a little shift. I don't know. Colorado might be they might be coming to play, man. And
Yeah.
it's sad because you said like for an example, like oh like USC will still be USC. I'm like yeah, but has USC been USC for like it's been rough, man. The last happy moment, like really like where I'm like was when they beat Penn State by like with a kick in a bowl game a couple years ago,
Matt Barkley. Matt.
and
Yeah. Yeah. I remember.
that was it, man. Like that, it's just been heartbreak
That
after
was a really
heartbreak,
good Rose Bowl. Yeah.
man. Final
Yeah.
thoughts. All right. Rest in power to the Pac-12. That's my closing thoughts right there.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so. Yeah. It's so sad.
it's been some good times, some bad times,
Yeah.
but some good times. You know, death to UCLA always.
That's
I like those
UCLA.
Bruins. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Who you going for in the national championship game? Washington.
At this point, I don't care. I just wanted Alabama to win. So
Okay.
yeah.
Who's
Um.
who's Jim
Okay.
Harbaugh?
I was gonna like text you this, but I was like, nah, I can't spin that in like a positive light. But like, because you were like Michigan, and I was gonna tell you, hey, bro, either way I win. Like if Alabama wins, good for me. If Michigan wins, Brady went to Michigan, so it makes Brady look better. So Brady went 22-5 in college. That's a good record. And no, dude, the Brady six keeps surprising me when the coach was like, only one team called me for Tom Brady, and I'm like, that's insane. Like you're telling me the Browns we're thinking, oh, we're too good to draft that Tom Brady guys. Like, you're the Browns, bro. Chill out, you know? No other team thought about that?
Yeah. It's crazy, bro.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's
So,
wild. Crazy stuff. Hopefully Jim Harbaugh gets his title. And
and then comes back to, I don't know. Did you say you wanted to coach somewhere or you said someone should sign him?
well, I mean, if you're the Chargers, if you're the Raiders, like why not bring him in? Why not? So
Ooh, him with the Raiders could be fun. Oh, you know what I'm like? I don't like the Chargers. Those guys piss me off. Charger fans specifically, those guys,
you know
they grind.
any?
Dude, one of my good friends, from high school. I'm gonna be a groomsman at his wedding next month.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah, I met him. Yeah.
Jake, yeah. So dude, Charger fan. So like, bro, but there's even a guy here in Paso that I used to work with, and big Charger fan, and like you would think that these guys, the way they talk about them, they have this like storied franchise and all these guys, and I'm like, bro, you guys got LT and that's it. It's like, I mean, yeah, like anybody else, like sure, there's some good players. Don't get me wrong, Antonio Gates, good player,
Right.
great player. Philip Rivers, I don't really care for Philip Rivers.
They're like the good team with no history. It's weird.
Yeah, and they want to act like they're one of those. Like they okay, like they always talk down to the Raiders, and I'm like, the Raiders at least got some balls in the ball. So let's not disrespect the Raiders, okay? Um, they want to act like they're on that level, but they're not. I'm like, dude, you guys are a couple wins away from being like, you know, like the Jaguar. Like you guys are not a good team. Let's pump the brakes. You guys are not a good team. Y'all have had some good teams, but there's no one in there that's like, So those are the guys. I don't like those guys.
Ooh, Charger fans.
Y'all heard it here first. Hey, and if anyone's got a problem with that, come on the pod. I will gladly throw verbal hands. I'm saying it right now. Open invite. Any isn't your boy what's his name? Root Thoughts host.
Albert, yeah.
Albert, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
What's good? No,
Albert's a good dude.
He is. No, he is a good dude. I like to argue, as you can tell. I like to argue. So.
I was not expecting just a drive by on the Chargers and their fans to end the pod. So it's I love it.
Yeah.
Be better, Chargers, and maybe you can come at David for his hateful thoughts. Yeah, I think, just I hope the Niners stay healthy, and that's it. It just health to the Niners, and
health is wealth. What's up?
And here we go. Quest for 6. Here we go.
Chasing the Patriots and Steelers. We got 6, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
We're at least in that conversation.
No, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. End of the football season, and I can't wait for one last thing. When do you think Canelo announces who he's fighting in May?
Oh, I think
next month, probably, huh?
Maybe like the end of this month, hopefully.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, it's been quiet over there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I met a guy, and I'm just like, here we go. Picture perfect, stereotypical. I was like, bro, and he was a nice guy. He's a good guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but I met this dude. This is yesterday. I was at work. Right. And the dude came in. Boxing came up, and so I was like, "Oh, okay." I watch boxing. I watch quite a bit of boxing. I watched quite a bit of boxing. So I watch boxing. And so we got to talking, and this guy's Latino, right?
Okay.
Doesn't like Canelo, and I was like, "I'm gonna ask you right now." I was like, "Tell me what it is that you don't like about Canelo." I was like, "This doesn't make any sense to me." Mm-hmm. And he said, and I was baffled. I was like, "That makes no sense." He's like, "Nah, man, this guy, he's just not humble. He's not humble, bro." And I'm like, my question was like, what is he supposed to say instead of, like, what is he saying now that you think is wrong? And then what is he supposed to say instead that would be okay? And so his first answer to, I was like, what are you saying that you don't like? He was like, oh, the way he says he'll fight anybody and he'll beat anybody. I'm like, boxers are supposed to say that though. Like that. What do you, if I'm a boxer, you think I'm going around saying, yeah, I don't think I want to fight that guy though. I think that guy would beat me, like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but no one says that. Who says that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I'm also thinking, there are a lot of other fighters that are actually not humble, where I'm like, that guy's a douche. I can think of a few. Like, and young guys too. Like Delfimo Lopez, that guy's a turd. Like that guy, Ryan Tank knocking the crap out of him. I'm like, I don't know. I told him, I was like, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
Devin Haney, I was like, dude, all these young bucks, I was like, all these guys, they talk a ton, dude. I was like, Canelo's just saying, "I'll fight anybody,"
Right.
and I'm like, I don't get it, dude. I don't understand. This guy went as far as to even say he was like, "Oh, because we both like Tank." I was like, "Oh, I like Tank. Tank's good, you know." And he's like, "Yeah, I think if Canelo and Tank were in the same way, like Tank would beat Canelo." And I'm like,
Oh my
"Bro,
god.
like, pray for me, so I don't like." So
Maybe
I
you should you should put literal hands on have a literal fist argument with this guy. That's
no, I'm tell you why
uh,
after the pod I couldn't with this guy, but yeah, so that yeah, I think end of this month or early next month because then after that point it's like the train February, March, April,
yeah, it
and
has to be
build
in the coming
yeah, build. I'm
week.
assuming he's already training too. I'm assuming he's like
Right.
he's doing like that light training right now, and then he announces it, and then he's gonna go into like beast mode training.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
do you think we get Benavides in May or Benavides in
I
September?
think so. I think it's Benavides.
Okay, good. Me too. I'm ready for that one. I've been ready. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's Benavides. I think the Bivol train is long gone, thankfully. Um so yeah, should be good.
yeah,
So um I'll talk to you next week. I'll watch the movie and
yes,
we'll see where we're at next week. Oh man, I can't wait. Should be fun. But
yeah.
we'll be on Canelo Watch, obviously. And then we have Fury, Usyk, and yeah, boxing gets pretty quiet in the beginning of the year.
Isn't Virgil fighting this week? I think.
Virgil fighting, yeah,
Shout out to Virgil.
yeah. But we're all
Yeah.
kind of like, are you, are you healthy? Are you good?
I think he is. My
I think
boy,
so too. I think so too.
my friend Trevor, like he's met Virgil. He's met him
Yeah.
a couple times, and so word of mouth, he's like, I think he said he figured out like his health thing. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah. All the best to Virgil.
yeah,
Likable dude. So hopefully he figures out. Hopefully he wins. So,
yeah.
but yeah. So I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon. And to everybody else, go Niners.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pod. Thanks to David. Thanks to Angel for the music. And last week of the NFL. So enjoy it. It should be a good one. Not as dramatic as years past, but it's the NFL. So we'll see where it all ends. And I'll talk to you next week. So, no, I'm lying. I'll talk to you Friday. I have a NBA pod, soccer pod coming up. So I'll talk to you then. Thank you for listening. Rate, review, subscribe. Listen. You can listen to wherever you get podcasts. Arrows Up podcast. Arrows Up on Instagram. Thank you for listening. Until next time, go Niners.